You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading.
StreamYard. All right. Hey guys, what's happening? We are live now on Facebook and YouTube, and we have our questions already laid out for us. So I know that a lot of you have been tuned in, especially on Discord. For those of you who are tuned in on Discord, April, Ko, Jazz, Len, Patrick, thank you for being here, and we have a couple of questions tonight, exciting questions for all of you listening in. For those of you who have been following the live and the podcasts, you might have already heard these questions and heard my answers to them. Hold on, let me try to fix the lighting lang. Medyo malabo yung light. There. Yep, looks better. All right. So, for those of you on Facebook and YouTube and you want to ask questions, this is the place to go from the chan.c/Discord. I'm going to leave that link there if you want to ask questions about business, questions about consulting, want to consult about your career or your business. You can drop by a question. Just sign in on that Discord link. It's free. We don't charge anything. Good evening, Monster Wings. I still don't know your real name. Like you're logged in as Monster Wings on Discord. So that it would help if you could put your name there though. It would help a lot. But yeah, so good evening guys. Thanks for being here and I hope you learn a lot from the questions tonight. So the first question comes from Dom De Leon. How do you imagine business and life towards Q1 to Q2 to be like as the vaccine slowly gets distributed? All right. Speaking of the vaccine, Pfizer has already come up with the vaccine. Moderna group has already come up with the vaccine with 95% chance of success. Now, there have been publications about people taking the vaccine and having like 1 to 2 days of really feeling down. And that we've taken vaccines before. I've taken vaccines with the flu vaccine, and minsan lumalobo yung arm and minsan you don't feel that pristine, that fantastic. But with this vaccine, I read that you will really be quite sick for like 1 to 2 days, and it's going to be difficult. But if it does the job and 95% success, then it is worth taking, I think. Also, UK, I think, has already approved the Pfizer vaccine to come in. And that says a lot, right? Europe has already approved that vaccine. Says a lot, says a lot. So Q1 to Q2, assuming that the vaccine does get here in the Philippines, and the projection is sometime April. If the vaccine gets here in the Philippines and some people get vaccinated, I think that I wouldn't say that life's gonna go back to normal. I mean, even in SEO Hacker, we've been thinking about it. How are we gonna do it? Because everyone in the team is used to working from home. We have all been working from home, so never kami papasok sa office. Our office has been, we've just been paying it and cleaning it and maintaining it, but we don't work in the office. We work we work from home. So we can't expect like it's gonna be quick and easy for people to just adjust back kagad. Because it wasn't quick and easy for us to adjust to a work from home setup, right? We had to place new protocols, have new processes, make sure that we're still able to get humanity in, because physical touch is out of the equation. There's no physical touch, there's no hi, hello, handshake, fist bump. All of that is gone, and people are still looking for a shred of humanity at work, and we had to figure out how to do that. So when the vaccine does come and we have it and we can go to work now, it's still going to be an adjustment. I don't think we're gonna ask people to come to work every day kagad ulit. I think it's gonna be a slow roll where maybe we'll do like 2 days, 3 days a week, where we could, you know, go back to the office again and work again. Of course, that's with proof that people got vaccinated. Maybe we're gonna have that, right? Um, one of the things about the vaccine is, I think that we still have to be careful about the protocols that we're doing now, which is have a face mask on, um, make sure that you wash your hands and you sanitize. And that's because if you have the vaccine doesn't mean you're not carrying the virus in your somewhere in your body, right? You know, still exists, nahawakan mo, and napahid mo sa mukha ng kasama mo, I don't know, right? So you still have to make sure to sanitize and be safe, so to eliminate 100% the virus, so that we can live life without fear of getting infected and suffering with the virus. So yeah, I think that business and life is going to slowly transition back to having that physical touch. I cannot discount that. I'm a guy who does business that way. I like meeting people face to face. I like talking face to face. I like the humanity that comes from warm body meetings. And I think that we will still be doing that. A lot of businesses, a lot of companies, a lot of salespeople. I'm a sales guy. So warm body definitely for me is something that I want to do. And even with people in my team, I want to see them. I want to get to bond with them face to face. So that's how I imagine it to be. It's going to be a slow roll, a slow adjustment, but it's going to move that way. Question from Patrick: what are your checklists in starting good branding? Okay, so how can I have good branding? Branding is about identity and stories. Those two things. So if you know your identity, you know what you're about, you have a story on how you were founded, you have a story on what you stand for, why you exist, the market that you serve. You keep on telling that story, consistently telling that story. That creates branding. So it's not that you have to have a checklist. There's not a lot of things that you need to do naman. Just be consistent with your identity and with your story. Of course, that also means that you have to be consistent with your product or service. Like for example, Nike has a slogan, just do it. They haven't changed that ever since, I don't know, like since they started, I guess. That's been their slogan, and the logo has been the same. It's the same check mark. And their products, we cannot say anything that is phenomenally bad about their products, because they make sure that the quality is good. So everything's consistent. That makes good branding. Their target market has always been athletes, athletes. That's what they focus on. So they're so consistent, and that just builds up their branding. So if you're a businessman or businesswoman, or maybe you're just starting, make sure that if you want to build good branding, and branding does pay off, it does pay off. Like Nike sells shoes that cost, I don't know, 300 or 500 pesos to make, to manufacture, and they sell it for like 3,000, 8,000, 9,000 pesos, right? Maybe more. So branding does pay off because people trust the brand. They will pay whatever it's worth. They will pay what the brand says it's worth because they trust the brand, right? So the good thing about branding is, for you, the business owner, is about consistency. For the consumer or for your target market, it's about trust. You're so consistent, so I trust you. So I trust you're going to be delivering the same product, or the same level of product, or the same level of service. My second question from Patrick: how is it like leading millennials? How do you keep them motivated? Leading millennials is all about authenticity. So the thing about millennials is we know when someone's faking it. We're just good at that. We're just intuitive at that. And if someone is faking it, that we don't like that person. We don't like fakers. We don't like hypocrites. We shy away from them. And if you're faking it, that's the first and biggest mistake. If you're the leader, you have to be authentic. You have to show them that this is what it is. This is who I am. Whether we're together, we're outside, we're on Zoom calls, whether we're working together, whether I'm in family, whether I'm on stage, it's the same thing. You're gonna get the same thing. That's me. That's who I am. That's how I deal. So you have to be authentic with that. You also have to make sure to set the bar high at the get go. Because if you hire people, and then here's what I realize: if you hire people, millennials especially, and then in the first few weeks, you tell them, okay lang, relax ka lang, chill ka lang. That's gonna be the pace that they're gonna be running for the rest of their stay with you as their leader. So what we do is, sa simula pa lang, we tell them that life doesn't owe us anything, right? We have to work hard and play hard. We have to make sure that we hit the ground running. So sa onboarding pa lang namin, we stretch them already. We set the bar high. So high that they always have to jump to reach it. And through their entire stay with us, that's the pace that they've been going. So you have to set the bar high if you want to make sure that they produce. And then you also have to make sure that you explain to them why you're doing what you're doing. You always explain to them why we exist. It's something significant. We're here to change the world. We're here to empower, right? That's why the Stanford speech of Steve Jobs was so iconic, because it's all about how you can influence the world, your impact on the world. And a lot of millennials look for that. So with SEO Hacker, we're not just about digital marketing. We're not just about revenue. We're not just about making money. We're all about empowering others to generate more revenue in the digital market. And that empowerment also spills over to leadership. We have leadership trainings, workshops, mentorships, coaching inside the company. I always say that we're a leadership institute. We just happen to do digital marketing really well. So there has to be something significant. Always point them to a North Star that they will follow. And you yourself should be marching to that North Star, because again, you have to be authentic. If you're not marching to that North Star and you keep pointing them to that, they're not gonna go there, and they're not gonna follow you. How do you keep them motivated? Well, one of the things that I realize is the last time that someone gets an applause in his or her life is during their graduation. And that is one thing that we set to change in SEO Hacker. We want to applaud people for the work they do, for the effort that they put in. We celebrate effort. And it has to be good, significant effort. Because if you celebrate the wrong things, you're gonna see more of that. If you celebrate the easy things, you're gonna see more of that. So only celebrate the things that really matter. Celebrate the things that push the needle. You keep them motivated by applauding them, but make sure you're applauding the right things. You're celebrating the right things. Okay? In life, not it's not just true in graduation, that's where we get our last applause, but in life, applause really and encouragement and appreciation, it doesn't come easy. And that's because the world is a harsh place. It demands a lot from us. Ganun talaga eh. You and I both know it. The world demands a lot from us. And it's hard to get an applause because oftentimes the world will be critical of your wrong things, but it turns a blind eye to the right things you do. Yeah, but it's also an art. There's a balance to it. You don't want to keep applauding the easy things. Make sure you applaud the worthwhile things. Can you share some of your learnings in handling your teams, which are all at this age range? Yeah, so those are some of the things that I realize about millennials, especially. And we all love to get along, right? Millennials love to get along with peers. We love a lot of similar stuff, computer games, series, K-pop. A lot of people in SEO hacker, you would see that may mga parehas talaga silang trip eh. And they tend to gravitate towards each other, and it's normal, right? Camaraderie is important for millennials. So we foster that as well. And my team, my COO, my GM, my HR, they have these programs where they get the team together and they plan fun stuff. I'm not 100% into that because I'm more of a work. I enjoy working more. I enjoy producing more. And I'm the type of person who loves deep relationships, right? And but these things that my HR and my execom does, it's more of an icebreaker, which is needed because we also have people who have been hired during the pandemic. We have new people. Okay, we have new people, and we have people who have been with us for a long time, and sometimes icebreaker activities are necessary. It's just that for me, I love deep relationships better. So we do that in the team as well. And there are times I'm there are times I join, there are times I support them. So, um, yeah. The next question is, what do you think are the pros and cons of having your own business versus having a job? Um, Having your own business, definitely the ceiling is very, very high. Maybe there's no ceiling. It depends on how hard you work, depends on the market, how hard you pray also, and how much you're willing to sacrifice. With work, with having a job, the advantage definitely is you have security, much better security than doing business because you don't risk your capital, you don't risk your time, effort, and your money. Whether your time is up or down, whether your effort is up or down, and you don't need to put in the money, it's you're going to get the same salary. So that's the con of having a job is that's what you're gonna get pretty much most of the time, unless you're in sales and you have commissions. That's what you're gonna get. Cons naman with being an entrepreneur, if it fails, masakit talaga because you risk and you invested time, effort, and money. So those are things that you have to just think about. You can do business as a sideline while having a day job, but and I get this question often, when do you know it's the right time to do your business full time and quit your day job? Well, I say it's the right time when you're not thinking about it. When kung hindi ka na nag-iisip na should I do it, should I not? When you just know na it's time. This is the right time. So for me, the right time was when SEO Hacker was making like 5 times my day jobs what my day job was paying me. Just making 5 times. For me, that was no brainer. No brainer. I have to focus on SEO Hacker, right? And my day job was a fantastic place to work in. It was great, but I knew that if I did not focus on SEO Hacker during that time, it's not gonna grow, and it will shrink and die. That's the available choices to me. So I had to focus on it 100%. We have a question from Len. She says, "Hi Sean, I understand you've been answering a lot of questions. Might have missed you haven't missed any. So, can you share with us how you got your first client?" All right, my first real client was Scuba World. How I got this client was searched they searched for SEO Philippines, the keyword SEO Philippines. And I was ranking on the first page. I think I might be number one, two, or three during that time. I'm usually there. Even today, I'm somewhere there, top one, top two, top three. Um, and they got in touch. So Scuba World, they asked me to go to their office, and during that time, I didn't have a lot of portfolio. I had my God and You blog, which was a personal blog, and I wrote there as a single Christian guy, and I journaled about my journey in the faith. And sabi ko, this is my only portfolio, but it ranks and it gets good traffic. And they wanted the keyword scuba diving Philippines, so I presented to them and gave them a rough draft of a contract, which I just whipped up. Honestly, I wasn't good in writing contracts. The contract I have now versus the contract I had back then looks extremely different. You would not know it's the same contract. So sobrang noob ko pa nun, right? But that's how I got my first client. It's actually through SEO, through practicing what I preach. I made sure that I rank for the money keywords in my industry, and I got them, and they contacted me, went there, pitched, closed the deal. That's how I got my first client. How did I price my service, and how did I come out with the pricing? Well, I googled it. As funny as that sounds, I looked up in Google how much SEO costs, and I saw that it's $1,000 a month plus minus. So that's what I put in my contract, 50,000 pesos a month, and yeah, the client agreed. So that's the start of SEO Hacker, no? That's the first money I got in, and yun yung pinaikot ko until I got my first office, hired my first people, got more clients coming in. No? Is your cash flow positive each month before and during lockdown? I would say by God's grace, because He's the one who blessed me with this business through the God and You blog, through a series of divine appointments. We have been cash flow positive since day one. We have never experienced a negative month yet. If if a factor in natin yung mga billables namin na unpaid, I would say kung gagawin nating minus yon, meron kaming cash flow negative. Pero hindi siya totoong minus eh. Kasi billable siya. It's just that hindi lang pa nagbabayad yung client. Which when, we did our due diligence, we sent demand letter, nagbayad naman eh. So all in all, cash flow positive kami. When you say cash flow kasi, strictly, it's the money coming in and out. And since the money did come in, only at a later time, we have been cash flow positive all throughout. How long do you think your business will last? SEO, I think so long as there is a search engine that has factors, that uses an algorithm that we can optimize. Because Google is an engine, and even if it has an AI within its engine now, it still is looking for the best websites out there to rank. So if your website is not maintained that well, doesn't have great content, slow, it's not secure, it's not gonna rank your site. And Google does not do that for you. You have to do that yourself, or you have to hire a company like SEO Hacker to do that for you. So as long as Google has that engine, and as long as there are businesses out there who wants to rank for their target keywords or their money keywords, then I think SEO will continue to exist. What do you think will be the long-term consequences in any business, and how can we avoid it? Long-term consequences? Well, consequences are the effect. I'm not sure what is the cause. So you have to qualify this question, Len, no? What do you think would be the long-term consequences of what? Of what? Diba? What's the cause? you're saying about the effect. So maybe you qualify that question first, then I'll get back to that. So I'm going to read again from Patrick's list of questions. What does success mean for you? Success means when, for me, when you're not in want, you don't want anything. There's nothing more you want. Yeah, for me, you're in a state of success. Now, for a lot of people, it means different things. For some people, it might mean that they're able to give it their best every time, all the time. That for them is success. For some people, it's having X amount of millions in the bank. That's success for them. But for me, it's just having a state of contentment. You're contented with what you have. You're happy. You're grateful. For me, that's success already. No, so as far as I'm concerned with that definition of success, I'm completely happy right now with where I am. So for me, that's all. I'm happy. I'm successful already. No, that's, and it might sound as mababaw, but I don't have that goal kasi na dapat I have X millions already or I should be retired by ganito. I am thinking about a goal, but it's not my definition of success. So I might have a goal of being retired by 40, 35, right? But it's kung hindi nangyari, it's okay. It doesn't mean I'm unsuccessful. It's just a goal. If I hit it, great. If I don't hit it, that's fine. So yeah, that's my definition of success. What's your best learning for this week or month? I think I posted that not so long ago on Facebook. Um, I usually share the things that I learn on Facebook or in our Discord channel. So if you, by the way, if you guys are tuned in from Facebook or YouTube, you can ask questions via Discord. The link is there. The link is here below, and yeah, you can just join the group, join the discussion, and post your questions there. So, some of the things that I learned, hindi ko pa pala napopost, no? But I learned a lot from John Maxwell. So it's from his podcast when he said, when your words outmatch your deeds, you lose credibility. And that means you have to walk your talk. You have to work what it is that you say. You have to do it. I know that it's a common knowledge, but it's a great reminder for me. And it's phrased in a different way. When your words outmatch your deeds, you lose credibility. This is true in your family. This is true in your team. This is true in life. And you have to make sure that you walk your talk. Another thing that I learned, I would have to review that. Let me see if I posted that on our Discord channel. No, I haven't. So I'm definitely gonna be posting it in the blog. It's there are may mga draft ako sa blog that I haven't published yet, but it's there. I should just publish it, no? And if you guys are subscribed, you're gonna be the first one to get that one. So I'm gonna skip that question first for now, and if I recall my answer to that, I'll get back to it. Why should people value time more than money? Because, and this for me is the goal, or sorry, the North Star why I'm doing entrepreneurship, why I'm running a business. For me, the purpose is to have more time, more freedom for me to spend for myself, for my family, for whatever I want to do. It's not about having X amount of money in the bank. It's about having more time. And time kasi is the one thing you can't buy. It's actually more valuable than money that way. Money is a means. Money is a means to be secure. And if you're secure, then you can have more time. That's how I see it. So if you can't buy time, you cannot earn time. It's given to you by God. This is the amount of time you have here on earth. And so for me, you can't change that. For you have 24 hours a day. but you can only work and have energy for X amount of hours, because X amount of hours you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to do things that is a must, and you can't control that. You have to do it. But with money, you can control where your money goes, where you get it from. You can affect it directly. So I see that money is a means to be able to have more time, but time is ultimately the thing that's more valuable. What are the things you miss in the normal office setting before the pandemic? I miss the human touch. For me, the physical touches, kahit na pat in the back, handshake, fist bump. I miss those things. I miss seeing our team face to face, cracking jokes there. I miss drinking whiskey with some of my people, or beer, just having a good time. Yes, we do have whiskey and beer in the office. Um, or even coffee in the morning, drinking coffee with them, having lunch with them, riding my bike to work. Yeah, I live near my office, so I just ride the bike to work. I don't have a parking slot there. I don't take the car there unless it's raining. That's when I take the car there. But for the most part, I just ride the bike going to the office. So I miss those things, and I look forward to it actually when this blows over. Um, Question from Len. Yung first client lang after 5 months working in corporate, I need to quit. All right. Yeah. So that would be Scuba World. Follow up question from Patrick. Do you agree on taking free jobs or with minimal fee when starting out to build your portfolio? I think I think when you're starting, yeah, wala ka pang portfolio, wala ka pang business, wala ka pang resibo. So you really have to have a rate that is friendly, more acceptable, and competitive with other people who also are like you, without a business, official business name or registration, without receipt. I think that you have to be humble enough to accept work that is not on the industry standard. Ganun talaga, that's life. If you're gonna be too proud to accept that, you're gonna find it very difficult to land clients, even if you're really good. Pero wala ka pang portfolio, wala ka pang resibo, wala ka pang official business. So it's gonna be tough for you. Don't make it hard for yourself, especially if you want to start and take your business off the ground as soon as you can. Then you have to do whatever it takes. What are the TV series or movies you find interesting? They say Billions is a great watch. Yeah, I know who said that. Maybe that's Marvin Guillermo. I'm not a stock trader. So for me, I love watching Suits. And the reason why I love Suits is because you would be able to see their loyalty with each other as a team. So a group of lawyers, and paralegals, secretary, and the CEO or the managing partner running the show, you would see their loyalty with each other. Grabe, nakaka-inspire yung loyalty nila. They really don't put anyone under the bus, and they would really allow themselves to get so penalized by the system, all the way to getting to getting um incarcerated, going to prison, just to prove their loyalty. So I hope I'm not spoiling anything, right? But just to prove their loyalty um, for each other. No? So for me, Suits is a fantastic series. I'm not a TV series kind of guy. I watch very few TV series lang, but Suits, I enjoy that very much. Question from Cedric Cho. What's your take on luck in becoming a successful entrepreneur? A lot of people say that you have to have good luck. I think that it's God's directives. It's a series of divine appointments. And so you have to have that divine appointment where God gives you this opportunity, right? So, some people say it's luck. I think it's a series of divine appointments. So I think that it's necessary to have a successful business. So it's not about just flipping a coin or tossing a die. It's about praying hard. It's about having faith and asking God for that opportunity. for that quote unquote luck, as other people call it, to happen, to have a wildly successful business. So I would say for me in my life, that's exactly what happened. Because I don't believe that I could get that lucky that many times. I believe that it's about faith in God and prayers and relying on Him and Him being the one to set those divine appointments for me. Question from Jazz: do you think a business can be political? I remember my professor from college tell me that business is politics. Okay, that could be true because the definition of politics is all about saying things in a more palatable way, right? Politicians are people who say things in a more palatable way. They're good at that. They're good at saying things that will be more acceptable to people. So when you're in business, and in Tagalog we call it negosyo, and we call businessmen and businesswomen as negosyante. You negotiate, and it's hard for you to negotiate when people will not accept what you're saying, when it's not palatable for them. They don't like how you say it. They don't like hearing it from you. You cannot negotiate that way because they'll reject you all the time. So, in saying business is politics, that's how I connect it. Politics is all about saying things in a more palatable way. Saying things na mas kayang tanggapin, mas okay pakinggan. Yan. Politics by definition is about that. And business is about taking risk, yes, but it's also about negotiation. So if you can't negotiate in a way where it's acceptable to the other party, what you're saying, you will not be able to do business. So saying business is politics makes sense in that way. Otherwise, I'm not sure what your professor in college is trying to get to. Okay? But that's how I understand it. We have a question from Pando. Um, Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, talks about looking at your business in 3 to 5 year lenses to know the pivots and changes needed. I was wondering, what opportunities do you see in e-commerce or the Philippines in the next 3 to 5 years? All right. E-commerce, by far and large, is going to just keep on going. That's what I can see because people have now adapted to the habit of ordering online. Whether it's through Lazada, Shopee, or some other platform, I know that, for example, my wife orders in other e-commerce platforms as well. I also order in e-commerce platforms that are aside from Lazada and Shopee. I have clients who are running e-commerce platforms on their own brand, native. Kami nag-develop, kami nag-integrate ng payment gateway. We see people ordering eh. We think that it's gonna go on. It's not gonna die off. Even if you can go back to the mall, but there are stuff in the mall that's sometimes not available. Guess where people will buy it? Instead of them going mall hopping looking for that item, which used to be the case, you're just going to order it online. Honestly, because if they have it online, bakit mo pa sasabihin na sige pupunta ko yung branch na may available stock? You're just gonna order it online, right? So I think e-commerce is just going to go strong from here on out. That's what I think about e-commerce. Philippines, next 3 to 5 years, we will definitely see a strong rebound in the market because the Philippine market is, to be honest, it's really a strong market. And it's an emerging market. So the to say that it will suddenly halt or stop or die or it's gonna be bearish, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be bullish. Like for example, the vaccine does come in April. During April, we a lot of people do get vaccinated. I think that it's just gonna fly off. So the real estate prices you see now, the stock prices you see now, ano pa yan, magaganda pa yan to get into it. But once the rebound happens and Pogo starts coming back again, wala, the prices are just gonna be shooting up off the roof. And I think that for those who are looking to buy like property or or stocks right now, this might be one of the best times to do it. That's what I think. Um, in terms of technology and services for the Philippines in the next 3 to 5 years, I think that we are already seeing a lot of innovation happening right here and right now. I know that we have, like, so I'm in the tech industry and I'm into tech news talaga, especially here in the Philippines. So I hear a lot of things tech world, and I already know that there are a lot of innovations happening. I'm not going to discuss that in depth here, but I already know that there are a lot of innovations and new stuff happening here. Yung iba kinopya lang from abroad, same business model, same software, same blueprint, but localized, and I think that can work because from abroad, yung iba, di man natin naintindihan yung language eh. So, I think here it can work. Question from Cedric. Choa, do you have real estate investments? Not yet. I have my house, just able to pay it this year. So I'm not that risky in terms of having a lot of investments na binabayaran ko pa. And I know that for real estate experts, they don't see it that way. They just keep buying even if they have outstanding loans a bank. But that's not my game. I'm a businessman, and for now, wala pa. Although I am looking at investing in one property, because property prices right now is quite good. So, but as of now, wala. How do you motivate people? Motivation usually comes from internally. It's hard to just motivate people as a motivational speaker, but I think motivation, the real essence of it comes from within. So it's hard to say na let's just get a motivational speaker or hire a motivational speaker and then our people will get motivated. It's not about that. The best motivation comes from gratitude, a spirit of gratitude, an outlook of gratitude. So I always tell people who are feeling down and demotivated to work, or they feel demotivated about family or about themselves, I ask them to write 20 things down that they're thankful or grateful for. Just 20 things. And if you can do that without repeating the 20 things, no, for 1 week straight, wag mong ulitin kung nasulat mo na, wag mo na ulitin kinabukasan. You do that for 1 week straight, you realize your spirit is better. Your countenance is better. And you are more motivated internally because you realize a lot of things, a lot of positive things about your life. A lot of people kasi that they get demotivated, they get low and down because of the bad things that they're counting in their life. Eh. No? So, or bad things happening out in the world or in our country. If you keep on looking at these bad things happening and you don't count the things that you should be grateful for, it's not going to balance out. You're going to end up negative. But if you count the things you should be grateful for, the things you have, and then you look at the negative things happening, it's going to balance out. And chances are you're going to realize you have a lot of things that you should be motivated about. So that's what I tell people who are feeling down and demotivated. Okay? What property am I planning to buy? Is it a condo? No, I don't. I'm not the type of guy who likes investing in condos because there's a 50-year mark where you have to return the condo to the developer. So I'm more of a house and lot type of guy. So I'm planning to buy actually a real property, not the condo. Yeah. So yeah, that so far is the last question. I hope you learned from that. We have a comment from Jed Johnson from YouTube. I saw your channel about a month ago and decided to pursue an online business that I've been wanting to do for the longest time. Thanks for inspiring me and continue to inspire others. God bless you, Jed. I'm glad you finally took that leap of faith, and I hope that you have counted the cost. You're gonna have to sacrifice some stuff. You have to be passionate about that and learn everything you can about starting and growing an online business. That will reduce your risk as an entrepreneur. And we have something to show you pala. The holiday cakes. Yes, I remember, Jazz. Thanks for reminding me. I have it somewhere here. So Jazz in our group is selling holiday cakes. Let me see where I put that. Holiday cakes. Where did I put it? Oh, it's in my email. So if you guys have, you're gonna give gifts, or you want to remind your clients that, hey, I still exist. Here I am. I'm still thinking about you. This is one place you can get it from. Uh, just look for it. There you go. All right. Share screen. So, gift items. I know a lot of people right now are looking for things to buy to give clients. I know, like for SEO Hacker, my team is already looking for things to give our clients for them to just remember that, SEO Hacker is here, remember you, and we want to celebrate the holidays with you, even if we can't be there, we can't meet you, we can't deliver this personally. Usually I bring wine to my clients, but if you plan to send lang some sweets or some things to celebrate, please get in touch with Jazz. She is part of our Discord group. So for you to be able to do that, just go to the link down below from dachon.c/discord. Join us. You can get in touch with her there, or email her. This is her email: Jaslyn Joy underscore Galope. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Jazz. I'm sorry. Galope at yahoo.com. All right, there we go. With free scented candle for only 1,300 pesos. Fantastic. So, guys, that is the last question. Oh, we have a pahabol question from Pando. Best advice for your 25-year-old self. 25-year-old self. I'm married already then, and I have my son on the way. Best advice would be, huh, that's tough. What are some of the mistakes I did? Probably get in touch with Marvin Germo on where to invest your money. No, so, but yeah, I think, it's hard to, for me, my how I see it, it's hard to just change the past, or just to give advice to yourself way back when. Maybe just my best advice is, it's gonna get harder, but it's gonna get better. That's what I'm gonna be telling myself. Because when I got married, we lived in Quezon City. Okay, so I don't have there's a townhouse there. My wife owns that. It was given to her by her dad. And if we're talking about real estate investment, that is real estate that we own. Technically, my wife owns that, so I don't say that that's a real estate investment on my end, but it's being rented out, and my wife can sell it if she wants. So technically, it's a real estate investment, and technically, we're conjugal with that. But I just don't see it that way. I just don't see it as my real estate investment. No, so, but it was tough for me during that time because I live in QC and I would drive to my office in BF Parañaque for work, because BF Parañaque is where my people are. I can't move during that time. I can't move 25 people na lumipat sa QC or sa North, right? And we have our office here in BF. So it was difficult. It was a very hard time for me, traveling that way. And I drove. I didn't have a driver back then. So I drove to my talks. I drove to my meetings when I pitch, or meetings when I need to fix something with the client, and then I drive to work, and then I drive back home to Quezon City. And traffic during that time was also bad. It was like an hour, or at least an hour and a half, I think. At least an hour and a half one way to the office, and at least an hour and a half back home to Quezon City. So it was a very difficult time in my life. Maybe one advice I would tell my 25-year-old self would be, it's going to get tougher, but it's also going to get better. So finally, after 3 years, I was blessed with a house here in BF Parañaque. I found it. Um, yeah, did the due diligence, paid the down payment, and finally was able to pay it all off this year after 3 years of living in it. So yeah, that's it. All right, guys, thanks so much. I know that that may be a lot of questions and a lot of words from me, a lot of answers. I hope you learned something from all of that. This is going to be a podcast on the Leadership Stack show on Spotify. I'm gonna send the link here. There you go. Leadme.ph/Spotify. If you're not following the Leadership Stack podcast yet, please hit the follow button there, and you will learn not only from these live sessions where we have Q&A, but you will also learn from my guests from all over the world. And the last one was from Brett Potter, which is all about culture. How do you affect culture and improve your culture or create an intentional culture while working remotely? So he studies companies that are fully remote, such as Zapier, such as GitHub, GitLab, Automatic. 1,000 people, all remote. Wala silang office. 1,000 people all over the world. 6,200 different countries. It's crazy how they're able to create a culture that really works for them. And I learned a lot during that podcast recording with Brett Potter, all the way from Portugal. I look forward to that, but that episode might come out somewhere January or Feb. I'm not sure when pa because we have a lot of episodes na nakapila pa, no? But please look for I look forward to that, to listening to that again. And I hope you learn from that. And if again, you'll be notified when that happens if you hit the follow button, leadme.ph/Spotify. Once again, guys, happy Thursday and God bless you.